Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Saints Sports Show. I'm Jim Powers, the voice of the Saints. Glad to have you with us as the spring sports have kicked off in full gear. And joining us, as he will every week here for the remainder of the baseball season, is Coach Seth Von Behren. And he is going to talk a little bit about the last couple weeks. And it's been a pretty successful couple weeks for the Saints baseball team, Coach.
Jim, it has. I think we've won 6 of our last 8. And playing better baseball, and there's no question about it, and it obviously starts with your pitching and your defense, and we've been solid there for the most part. I don't think that we've touched or we're close to where we need to be by any means, and we're getting closer, and I think our kids know that. But they're playing hard, they're playing with a lot of energy, and we're still a couple weeks away from being where we'd like to be. But I've always been told, and from the people that I learned from, you want to be better in May than you do in February and March. So we're getting closer. It's getting close to May, and we need to start playing much better baseball.
Talk about the challenges, Seth, about not being able to get a lot of practice outside. The weather has just absolutely been brutal over the last month and a half since we talked last, and it hasn't given you guys a chance to really get outside other than maybe game days.
There's a little bit of truth to that, but everyone else is going through that too. So we don't use that as an excuse. We're not going to use that as an excuse. I think the one place that has probably hindered us and myself more than anywhere is not getting some guys pitching time that we would like to. Some younger guys that we would like to get out on the mound, whether it be in an inter squad. We lost a series early in the season, and I thought that really affected the opportunity for some young guys to get on the mound, which ultimately down the stretch you want to have those guys ready to go. And right now we're really relying on our starting pitchers who have done a great job, but they're having to throw complete games at this point just because we don't know what we have in our bullpen.
How difficult it is, and I know as a former coach how difficult it is to simulate pitching off of a mound inside using the wooden or the new, hard rubber mounds that everybody's developed. But it's apples and oranges. There's no comparison to pitching on the dirt outside than pitching inside.
And pitching against some competition, whether it be a hitter on your own team or a hitter against another team. Ultimately, that is probably the most important thing, is facing someone else in the batter's box against you. However, when it comes to pitching indoors and on the mounds and all that stuff, I leave that to Bob Zimmerman and pretty much stay out of the way because I don't know anything about pitching.
No doubt about it. Big week last week, obviously, beating McKendree, knocking off SIUE, which is the first time the Saints baseball program has beaten a Division I program in many, many, many years, and then getting 3 of 4 against William Jewell, and then 1 of 2 last night against UMSL. So some really good things, but you just hit it. The pitching has been the key over the last week.
Yeah, they've really stepped up. Our starting pitchers have been very good. They've gone deep into games. I thought Robbie Gordon for 3 innings yesterday was very average and got into his tail a little bit yesterday, and he stepped up to the challenge and was very good for the remainder of the game that he was in. And then we've had some pretty good success with Scott Pennington and Josh Bonds, and some of those guys have done a very good job. But for the most part, Eric Keeling and Omelet and Sark, those guys have just dialed in pretty well at this point, and they're throwing the ball extremely well for us.
And then on the offensive side, and also a little bit on the defensive side, Caleb Depew, Sean Murphy, just really, that's the top of your order, and they're leading the way for the offense.
And that's where it starts. Those guys have been very good. Sean Murphy saw very little playing time last year. And the truth is, Caleb Depew is really only his second year of hitting. So those guys have worked extremely hard and put themselves in position to have very good years. And ultimately, we ask our guys to play hard and work hard in the weight room and on the field and all the little things, and they've done that. And those 2 guys have definitely been rewarded for that. Let me just say this. Garrett Jones is another guy. I was just looking. Garrett Jones had 7 at-bats coming into this season, and I think he has 40 or 50 now, and he's played pretty good baseball for us. So we're still young when it comes to experience, and those guys have done a very good job. I feel very good where we're at. I think Corey Gall's another guy who's starting to come around here a little bit.
Boy, did he make some big plays yesterday in that first game.
Well, big plays yesterday in the first game, but he may have saved us against William Jewell. He made the bases loaded play down the line that turned into a double play, and ultimately defensively he's a good shortstop. Yeah. I think he's better at third base, and he's coming around offensively. He's going to be the key to what we do down the stretch here.
Absolutely. This weekend, 4 out in Kansas City at Rockhurst. What's the early preview?
That they can really, really hit and that hopefully we can really hit, and our pitchers can keep the ball down in the zone, because they really do. They pound the ball around the yard. Our pitchers are going to need to pitch down and show the ability to throw in and out a little bit. And our hitters are going to have to be better this weekend just to match up with their guys, because they're going to score their runs, and we've got to find a way to match them every inning.
All I know is it was great to get back behind the mic yesterday on Saints Vision. I know weather has played a little bit of havoc with our Saints Vision coverage, but it's going to be a lot of fun in April and May to cover you guys on Saints Vision with a lot of games coming up.
Jim, it's nice to have you with us, and obviously I know the parents appreciate it, our kids appreciate it, and it goes a long way when we start talking about recruiting.
Absolutely, Seth. Good luck this weekend. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Coach Seth Von Behren, the head baseball coach here at Maryville. We'll talk to him every week as we get into April, the meat of the GLVC season, and hopefully we see these guys down in Evansville in the GLVC baseball tournament in mid-May. For Coach, I'm Jim Powers. Glad to have you with us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Maryville Saints. Get all the information and the updated great stuff going on here in the athletic department at Maryville University. Have a great day, everybody, and as always, go Saints.